Let's go. Jack, how's your week last week? Hot damn. Yeah, it's got some heat here. We'll see what's going down with this thing. It's not an ideal thing because you're right. It is like it could be a little bit, but it is a breakout. It may not be, the breakout started here though. If you're looking at your 3-tester, that's where, you know, you've got to go with this. So we'll kind of keep that thing looking. Yeah, you're right. It's a little bit dry though. What are we going to do on that? You know, we'll have to kind of make do with what we got and see where the action is. This TLROI, Cron are hitting pre-market highs. So we got a breakout on the QQQs now at this with the gap. Now morning gaps are tough because what? It takes out all the range in the market. When you get a bull market and you get little gap downs, that gives you extra room to kind of run to the upside. With the gap up in the QQQs, this can take out a good chunk of the range. You know, usually the range might be, say, $1.25, $1.50. This thing is already kind of, we've already used up a good chunk of that range. So we'll have to see what happens at the open to see if the market starts to pull back a little bit and then comes back. So usually how I like to do things, especially on Mondays. Monday, all days, right? Monday gap ups are the worst. You get a gap up like this, you may want to see some type of pullback either to that kind of 183 mark, see if it gets some footing there, and then what we'll do is kind of look at some potential longs. Because one of the things, if you think about like some of the stocks that we trade every single day of recent, they're all super extended. You know, Roku, we trade this every day, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. You know, it's been up, right? CGC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row. It's been up. Now you're gapping up for a day 7. That's just way too aggressive. So we may see a little bit of a pullback, you know, at the open. It's hard to long some of these hot momentum stocks when you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row. Now you got a 7th-day gap. This could be an exhaustion gap. So I got this AMD on my potential watch list. If the market starts to roll back a little bit, I may take this thing for a short, actually, on a rubber band setup. You know, we might maybe use kind of 25 if it starts to stall out there. Shorting this market is super tough, though. Every single dip gets bought. So when you short, you've just got to be like so... You got to be so nimble because you don't have really, you know, the market ever rolling back. So that's going to be something... Give me your faves all day. What's your faves over here? I see. Eric, let me take a look. So you got IQ. Man, this IQ is a weird spot. So I can see you've got a range break here at like kind of 30. You know, that's been, if you go back on your 30-minute chart and you look at the range break on 30, that could kind of take it to maybe 32. But... not an ideal thing because it's just under so much resistance. I know a couple guys have been sending me this SSC. You know, this one looks okay too, but once again, you're kind of on, you know, multiple up days in a row. Then you start to gap again, you know, you'll probably see a short on this near 7, but you may have a little bit of room on this. Not my ideal though. I don't like hitting kind of day 4s, day 5s. They get really, really dicey. So you're not really seeing too much on the gapper list minus the pot stocks. You know, you're seeing a little bit, like maybe this EIDX is kind of getting flushed down, but not much volume just yet. You know, you may see this thing break lows, and we may get a short in this a little bit later. Whatever's happening on here, obviously, was not good. The key on this one's going to be, it's got to actually stay under this, I guess, 14, 15. 14, 15, 14. I wouldn't try to short it above the breakdown spot because it may just kind of come back. I keep this HIB was a good flusher on Friday. I'd keep this on watch for a red to green today. If it pops up at the open and starts to roll around, definitely that one could be okay. I got Zuo on the watch list. This one had a nice day on Friday, up 10%. This one's kind of trailing. So if you think about like a lot of the IPO stocks that have been running, they've all pretty much broken out the highs. This one's a little bit of a trailer. You know, it has not broken out the highs, which is a plus. The overall pattern is good. So I do like this one. This is one that's going to be one of my faves. For you swing traders, people that are part-time traders, I like this WWE. It's got basically a flat top breakout here, multiple tests. If it comes out of here, I may take this thing for a swing trade. I personally would not day trade this one. It just doesn't have the volume to get the heat that you need, but it looks okay overall. This Tusk got shredded on Friday. You can see it was an all-day trender. Anybody trade this thing? I mean, you don't get any easier than bear flags like that. This one was a nice thing. You're opening up strong today. Slight green. If this thing goes green to red, hey, Mr. Justin, what's going on? If this thing goes green to red, I definitely look at this one for a potential short. Man, look at that rubber band play on this GSKY. I see what you're doing on this. It needs to get over this level before you can take it. Not my ideal type of pattern because it's still in a downtrend and it's kind of in that weird spot. You know, if you're going to hit it, maybe the previous day would have been easier because now you're stuck at different levels of resistance. But overall, it looks okay. Put this SPLK on your watch list. This was the hot mover of Friday. You can see the monster range at the open. Let's look at this one for a potential red to green. If it may open up strong, we may ORB this bad boy also. Love the range on this. You can see this thing's breaking out the highs too. I keep this one on your watch list for the next couple weeks too, because if it starts to pull back, you may get a nice little swing trade that develops out of this one. Sono, after that big run, you've got a 2-day pullback to the 9 EMA. This one could, you know, hold here and start to bust loose and, you know, maybe get back towards that 22. I like that one a lot. Mitch is a good one too, Janet. Good idea. You know, this one still hasn't broke out just yet. When we think about, like the markets and how it's breaking out the highs, you know, one of the things that we want to find is the trailers that haven't broken out yet. This one could definitely be one. Keep an eye on this GERT. This one had a big break of range on, this one had a nice break of range on Friday. 40 million shares in volume. Can't ignore that. It's definitely got some heat and it was its first big update. So you're not having to chase anything extended. Definitely something to keep an eyeball on because it's not extended. Right now, today's gap is going to take a lot of stocks out of the range and it's going to make things difficult. DPZ, this one also looks like another swing trade. This is a picture-perfect flat top breakout. You got your 9 EMA curling up under this thing. As long as this thing kind of holds this 295, any little dips towards that, you may want to look at this thing for a potential swing. That's a picture-perfect pattern for the most part. And then, yeah, I got this AMD on watch for potential short. ADSK broke loose on Friday. Let's watch this one. It had a nice range develop all day on Friday. So it looks like we're starting to peak out over it. As long as we can hang out over this, I think it's going to look good. And Janet, you got a good eye because I also got this now on my watch list too. 1 test, 2 test, 3rd test here. This sector, software applications, is the hottest sector in the market. The tech sector itself is up 6% for the year in 2018. Software application sector is up 36%, if I recall during my scans yesterday. So it's got high relative movement in relation to its underlying sector, which is technology, which is awesome. I would definitely keep a watch on this one too. It's got a pretty good range on it. You know, if you can get something, anytime you can get, it doesn't matter the price. If you can get something with a $5, $10 range on it, it's easy to trade it back and forth, you know, and that's something that, you know, you've got to always look at, keep an eye on. This TRL Watt, it's moving strong. It's only a day 2 after its consolidation. I wouldn't probably chase this thing at the open. I'd watch and see how the first dip is handled, right? If the first dip is handled, meaning it starts to pull back and it starts to hold, you either build a trend line or some type of price support at a moving average or something like that, then you're going to have some juice on this thing. Guys, it's Monday. You got to start your day off right. Let's go out and do what we do. Let's go out and do what we do. We were hot last week. That was probably about as steady as we're going to get last week. Holy crap. You know, that's just the way it goes sometimes. Some weeks in the market, you're just going to be green every day. Some weeks you're struggling to, you know, just grind it out. Last week was almost too hot. You know, we'll have to kind of keep an eye and make sure that we're not getting a little bit giddy. Just like the stock market gets wild, we as traders can get wild too, get overconfident when the markets have been easy, and that can lead to down days. That was one of the things when I'm doing my stuff in the mornings. That's what I was, you know, working on yesterday, was making sure I don't get overconfident, because when you get that hot market and everything just works out, it's easy to think that you're a better trader than you really are, and that's something always to keep an eyeball on. My friends, I shall see you around.